त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वती महाकाली त्रिगुणात्मिका कुण्डलिनी साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कल्की साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी साक्षात् श्री कल्की साक्षात् श्री सहस्रार स्वामिनी मोक्ष प्रदायिनी माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः।
Jai Shri Mataji, everyone. Hello, Richard. How are you?
Hello, Rita. I'm very well.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good morning, depending upon where you're joining us to our new time and new date of our current session series. And yes, of course, I'd love to welcome our lead today, Richard, to a wonderful program that he has planned. So I'm looking forward to it very much. So
yes, it's nice to be back online after a bit of a break. Been doing a lot of live in-person programs in Perth in Western Australia recently, after all the restrictions. But it's always nice to, reach out across the globe potentially.
Yes, that's right.
Through the power of the internet and Zoom. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have quite a full calendar in Perth, which is amazing.
Yeah, we do. It's we've been fortunate in many ways, but also it's just that desire to to go to that step of ultimately coming together in an actual room with other people and doing what we do here, and then following up with maybe a cup of tea and a piece of cake or a biscuit or something like that.
We can still do that. I've got my cup of tea.
Yeah, I've got a glass of water, so yeah, cheers.
There you go. So yes, and I suppose one of the things that I find that we've kind of learned and in one way matured and developed through the COVID times is also that confidence of we have been doing things like we give bandhans to people, give vibrations, and for issues and stuff, but getting that confidence that really it doesn't matter where you are, as long as you're together, it is collective and it is the vibrations that start to flow and work, because that's instantaneous collectivity as soon as you're together. So the meditations when we're doing the online one are equally as powerful and strong.
Yeah, I think that's true. Ultimately, though, we want to, I'd encourage people wherever they may be to try and reach out if possible, and get together with people, because you can go so far, online, but ultimately, what we're doing is very organic and very natural, and at some point, it's important to, as I said, get into a real room where you're in three dimensions, as it were. Because that's what life is ultimately all about. But what you say is true, because there was a time when, even today, people may be like yourself in a relatively remote part of Australia.
That's right.
And it wasn't possible for people, except for maybe on the telephone or something like that, or to watch a video. But these days there are sort of no real obstacles. And if we have a desire to meditate collectively, then we can do it. And it's just a case of taking it as far as we can. And also, I'd like to sort of point out that while some people joining us may be quite new, really what we want is, those of us who have been doing this for a while, is we want everybody essentially to be able to do what we do and to get confident with their meditation and their understanding of themselves through Sahaja Yoga, and to be able to give self-realization to others. So Rita and I are really no different to anybody else, except that we've been doing this for quite a while, and others as well joining us tonight, like Chris. And you get to a point where it's like, well, wow, this is really great. This is benefiting me so much, and I really want to share it with others. We often have a desire to share it with those close to us, family and friends. But then, with the sort of collective consciousness that we develop, we just want to share it with the whole world. And as many people, whoever has a desire to do it themselves. So we really want to enable everyone to be able to do that. It's very simple. We have these various clearing techniques that we can tweak around the edges, sort of thing. But essentially, Sahaja Yoga is very simple, very natural, and very accessible. And we want you to be able to go out, give self-realization, and basically do what we're doing.
That is true, because there's two things about that. I suppose one is that we are here to help you become your own masters. You become your own masters of your subtle system, but then also of that knowledge. And two is then to be able to go and have that confidence that, yes, you can give, realization. You can start learning to feel other people's energy centers and chakras and learn the techniques that you use for yourself or others. So it is the same thing when you have a candle that you have lighted a candle, you can light many more candles with it. And that's basically that ability that you develop, you grow your confidence of being able to do that.
Exactly. And also it's like anything, when you start doing that, it actually helps to establish your own understanding. It's probably everybody's had some experience where, they've become quite knowledgeable about something. It might be, how to bake a cake, might be how to drive a car, but whatever it may be, any parent, for example, who's gone to teach their children how to do something, and in the process, you sort of realize just exactly how much you know yourself about whatever it may be, and it actually helps you to become better at that thing. So don't hesitate. Like if you happen to be, if you're quite new to Sahaj, but you happen to be talking to somebody, don't feel like you can't give them self-realization, get them to hold their hands out, get them to see if they can feel the coolness above their head. As Rita says, once a candle has been enlightened, you only have to bring it together with another candle, and other candles can get enlightened, because it is a natural process and not about doing a lot of preparation and study and reading lots of books. So in a way, the sooner you do it, the better, quite frankly.
That's right. And it is because your Kundalini is awakened, and that is the only reason that you can feel the vibrations on your hand. So once your Kundalini is awakened and you're meditating, when someone comes in your presence, it's like their energy, out of respect for your own awakened energy, starts to awaken and work. So all you need to do is just put that attention, and that's what you were saying. Put your hands out, put your attention, see whether you can feel it or not, and away it goes. And it kind of then triggers that process within themselves. It works really well. Definitely.
Yeah, very good point.
Definitely.
Very good point.
So we shall start today's meditation, because I am quite looking forward to sitting in for meditation.
Well, we've already started, of course.
Yes.
But what I was going to do is, just because we do understand that there may be people joining us for the first time, or some may have just recently, been introduced to themselves through Sahaja Yoga meditation. So maybe we'll just quickly recap some of the mechanics, some of the background, and then we'll have a guided meditation, and then we're going to follow that up with listening to some very soothing music. We'll just mention Rita, that over the next week or so, we have the festival of Diwali coming up, which traditionally has been celebrated in the subcontinent. And for those who don't know, it's, it can be described as the festival of light. And like a lot of things, the focus has shifted perhaps into the more superficial, more material aspects of this celebration. But in essence, we're talking about enlightenment and enlightening, one candle enlightening another, and the essence of Diwali. And we will listen to a short talk from Shri Mataji about Diwali, but it's really about one candle enlightening another, and then having many, many lights. And the lights that we're referring to are the lights within ourselves, the light of the spirit. So we're going to have two talks from Shri Mataji. One will be on just the left side, the power of the left side, which you may know is about our desire. And our desire is really the key to our self-realization, because in our freedom as human beings, if we don't have a desire for our spirit, for our true self, it's not going to happen, because we have that freedom, and that freedom can't be transgressed even by our own creator. So we'll have a talk on that topic, and then we'll have another talk where it's from quite a few years ago, at the same time of the year when Shri Mataji was addressing a bunch of people about Diwali.
Okay.
So maybe we can just have a look at a chart of our subtle system now. Most of you have seen this before, and you can just see that, or if you haven't, then it's always good to come back to what it is that we're doing within ourselves. And that just like we have other systems in our body, like a respiratory system for breathing, a circulatory system for our blood circulating, and we acknowledge those because we can see them, but we can't see our energy system, but it's there. And it's very important, because unless the energy system is working properly, it really guides and empowers all of the other systems. So this is the core of each of us. We have those 7 chakras, or energy centers, with their various qualities. And we have those 3 major channels. And in the base of the spine, in the sacrum bone, as it's referred to by, the medical profession, by scientists, and in our own anatomy, we have this dormant, nurturing feminine energy, which traditionally is called Kundalini, which just means coiled energy. And so what is meditation? Well, basically meditation is something very specific. And it's when this Kundalini, this nurturing energy, is allowed to awaken and then rise up through that central channel that you see there, along the spine and through the various energy centers above it, clearing and nourishing as she goes. We say she because it's like our own individual mother that we have within us. And that's her nature, to nourish, to help us to grow. And then eventually she comes through nourishing and empowering us with these qualities that are innate within these centers, and then coming out through the fontanelle bone at the top of the head. And so having integrated us within, now integrating us individuals with this all-pervading power of creation, which is undeniable. Obviously, we have, this nature around us that sustains us, and that is the ocean of sustenance and forgiveness and love. We have to mention that because ultimately you know, we have all of these things at our disposal, but the greatest power in the universe, and in fact, the only power in the universe, is the power of love. Because if it wasn't for that, none of this would be here. I mean, why would anything exist? There has to be a purpose, and the highest purpose that there is love. And in our hearts, within our true self, in our spirit, we know that and we feel that, even though we may be distracted by all the things going on around us. And sometimes we start to doubt the existence of this power because of some of the horrible things that happen, or some of the unexplained, the things that we can't explain sometimes. And so by coming back and becoming our true self, becoming the spirit, we start to really feel what it's all about. So what we'll do now is we'll just sit with both hands palm upwards on our lap, and we'll just go through a little bit of a guided meditation. And we can close our eyes for this. And let's start by putting both hands towards the earth. So if we're sitting on a chair or on the ground, we can just drop our hands pointing down towards the earth. And let's start by just feeling our connection with the Mother Earth. And if we're sitting on a chair, so through the soles of our feet, through the seat of the chair, feel our own gravity. There's a force that's connecting us to the earth. Otherwise, we just sort of float off into space. So our own weight, our own gravity is squeezing us together with the Mother Earth through our bottom chakra, this Muladhara chakra, as it's called. And this Muladhara chakra is the foundation of our whole subtle system. And it's essential for our meditation, because if it's not strong, like any foundation, if it's weak, then whatever we build on top of it is going to be wobbly. So let's just really feel the strength and power of our bottom chakra, which, by the way, is the earth element within us. So the earth element within us and the earth that we're connected to kind of become one, kind of join together and become one. And so the whole power of the earth is within us, in this bottom chakra. And then once that is established, then this Kundalini can start to rise up on this solid foundation that we have, up through the central channel. And let's put our right hand now onto the left side of the chest, onto our heart, and just remind ourselves by saying quietly to ourselves that I am the spirit. I am the spirit. First and foremost, not this body, not these emotions or thoughts, concepts, or all these things around me. They're all there, they all have a purpose, but they're all transient. They change, they come and they go. You know, we have good days, bad days, but for various reasons. But whatever else is happening, we are the spirit, and that never changes, even as we pass from one life to the next. So let's just affirm a few times that Mother Kundalini, I am the spirit. So then we can put our right hand onto the forehead. And this energy center gives us the power of forgiveness. And when we forgive, we're really empowering ourselves to be free of most of the thoughts that distract us, take us either into the past or into the future and away from reality, away from the present. So we don't have to think about it, and we don't have to make, it's not a judgment, but just for our own well-being, we can say from our heart, from our true self, that Mother, I forgive. I forgive everyone. I forgive myself for everything. We can just say this a few times to ourselves, as I said, from our true source, from the spirit, from our heart, and without thinking about it, just to see what happens. And each time we do this, we realize that it enables us to become more balanced and more connected. Mother, I forgive everyone, and I forgive myself for everything. And then we can press down on this top chakra. So with the palm of the hand, pressing down on the Sahasrara chakra. Sahasrara just means 1,000 petaled. So this top chakra has many, many, many petals. It integrates all the other chakras. And that's why we spend a lot of attention, or try to keep our attention on this chakra on the top of our head. Press down with the hand there, just slowly move the hand clockwise and just desire within for our self-realization. If we're doing this for the first time, we can just say, Mother, please give me my self-realization. Just moving the hand slowly clockwise, pressing down firmly. We've done this before, we can just say, Mother, please establish my self-realization. Please keep me connected and integrated with the whole. And when you've done that, we can bring the right hand down. And we'll just sit for a minute with both hands palm upwards on our lap. What our feet should be. On the floor. Sitting in a balanced way so there are no physical obstructions to the flow of our own energy, our own kundalini. And we're going to listen to a little bit of music while we continue our meditation. But before we do that, let's just feel above our head. Now, not touching the top of the head, but with the right hand, bring it above the head, about 10 or 20 centimeters. And just see if you can feel like a coolness on the palm of the hand, because that's how our kundalini manifests when it's flowing. It may be warm to begin with because as it's clearing, the clearing of the chakras, that friction can produce heat. So just see for your own satisfaction what you feel. Just be aware of what you feel on the hand. And this is something you can do anytime. You can also try with the left hand, bring the right hand down. Sometimes one side is cooler, clearer than the other. And just make a note. What do you feel on the palm of the hand? You may feel that coolness coming up and up between the fingers from the top of the head. And that's the Kundalini. That's your own Kundalini. And bring the hand down and sit with the hands palm upwards on the lap. And just be aware, even with the hands on the lap, whether one hand maybe feels cooler than the other. And we can explain later on, if you don't know already, that our hands reflect what's happening in our body, in our subtle energy system. So just keeping the attention now on Sahasrara, on the top of the head. We can just continue enjoying the thoughtless awareness while we listen to a little bit of music, which is played on an instrument called the santur, which is very soothing, and especially soothing for the Nabi chakra around the abdominal area. And by the way, this Diwali celebration that we're in this week, the focus is very much on this third chakra, this Nabi chakra, where the gross level, we hunger for food, but at the deeper, more subtle level is where we hunger for our spirit, for our self-realization. So now we're just going to listen to this little bit of music, then we're going to go straight into a talk from Shri Mataji on the left side, and then we'll come back and continue with our meditation.
when I talk to you, I have to again request that as a scientist, you must keep your mind absolutely open. And do not hang on to any point which comes up in your mind, but try to understand that whatever I am telling you is today maybe a hypothesis for you, but tomorrow it will become a complete scientific proof. For you have to understand the science of God's love. Perhaps people cannot understand that all the sciences have come from God Almighty Himself. To understand God's love and divinity, one has to open oneself to that absolute position from where all relativity disappears. We are living in the atmosphere of relativity. We have to find out our absolute. Unless and until we find out our absolute, we are always in confusion and we think that this may be alright or that may be alright. If this is alright, that could be alright. We try to decide everything through our rationality. As the Lord has already told you, rationality is a limited means. And I am talking of the unlimited. So if you have to go to unlimited, it has to be beyond the rationality. So with the open mind, I hope you listen to me. After realization, when the power starts flowing to you, then you will be able to know how to maneuver it, how to understand it, and how to keep it moving. Like one would explain about electricity first, then give you an experiment with the electricity flowing and explain to you how to use it. By using the electricity, you will be convinced that it is a scientific truth. I could have started the lecture from creation, but that would be too much to begin with. I would start it from your own being. When you are a human being, you are not aware as to what are you inside. As far as your physical body is concerned, doctors only see the outside of your being. The inner subtle forces which are creating you, which are looking after you, and which are making you exist, you are absolutely unaware of. In our being, there is first of all is the power which enters into our being from right hand side and goes to the left hand side, which we call as Mahakali Shakti, is the power of Mahakali. This Mahakali Shakti manifests within us a power which runs through the Ida Nadi. Now this Nadi or this subtle channel is inside the brain and inside the spinal cord. This being the energy, you cannot see it when it is dissected. For example, if you dissect this, you won't find the electricity flow. This Ida Nadi on the left hand side gives us our existence, and at the side in the gross manifests our left sympathetic nervous system. We exist because of this Ida Nadi. This is also manifesting all our emotional side of life, which comes from our past. So it has all the past that is within us. So Ida Nadi manifests, or we can say accumulates, all that is our past, Atit. This is our existence. We take it for granted that it exists. We do whatever we please in our ahankara, in our own understanding. We try to our level best to destroy ourselves, and we reach a point where we have to give up. This is all decided for you, how long you have to exist. It is all predestined. If you have to die at a point, you will die. There is no one who is going to stop that. So some people who come and tell me, Mother, somebody is dying or dead, can you make him live? If he has to live, he'll definitely live. Only the miracle of God makes you believe in him. But your time and birth and death are absolutely destined, which must be accepted. It is not the way it is described in your kundalis or in your horoscopes. In the horoscope, for example, a gentleman was to die about 5-6 years back. And he came to me, he got his realization, and he lived much longer after that. He's still living. So he went to his Pandit and he asked him, how is it you had predicted that I am going to die this year and still I am living? Then he saw into the horoscope and he said, by the way, did you meet any great spiritual personality? He said, I did meet someone. He said, that's the reason. I should have told you that if you had met, if you meet this lady, then this will be avoided. And it was to be avoided, and he met. So in a way, there is a sanjoga always. Because you are here, you should not think that you have deliberately come here. But it was to be that you should be here. Now, if you do not take the advantage of this sanyoga, that freedom is with you. But sanyogas are created by God. He organizes and arranges that you meet the right person, that you get the right thing. But it is left to your freedom to choose the right or the wrong. Mostly we go according to our own whims and understanding. Even then, if supposing our understanding was a pure understanding and a simple understanding, we would know, we would be very sensitive to know who is the real person and who is not. But normally when we live, we play with our existence. We try to minimize our sensitivity.
योगदायिने मा योगदायिने मा तुझको प्रणाम तुझको प्रणाम तुझको प्रणाम चरणों में तेरे सातों धाम सात
It's a great day of Diwali. That means today is a great day. Lights of your heart together to make a greater light for the world to move in a proper direction. It's a day of great joy. And those who join in this are spreading also great joy. But the problems are there, as they say. But for us, there is no problem because there is no darkness. We don't see any darkness anywhere. We see lights and lights and lights. Then what is the thing missing? Missing is our sincerity. We have to be very sincere with ourselves. Because it is not just a borrowed love or a borrowed joy, but it is from within the source. It's flowing, flowing and flowing. So that is to be awakened. And that love should flow. And our small petty things like jealousies and competitions and all those things which spoil us must be washed away. And it can be washed if your heart is full of love. Today is a day of spreading love, light of love, so that everybody feels enlightened and happy and forgets his petty problems. I am happy that you have been able to get some hall. It's all luck that we got it. People were so much worried about getting a hall. But it had just happened. So we should know also that our destinies are also guided and looked after. We are already blessed people. There's no doubt about it. And we should not worry about small things and small matters. It will all work out very well, you will see. If you just leave it to your destiny, which is very high, very great, with this your own destiny, you will go very far. This is the promise of Diwali to you all, that you will reach highest and the noblest way of life. Every word I say will be there to prove what I say is there. Whatever petty problems you have, they'll all be washed off. All these are the messages from the divine. You don't have to worry about petty things, about money, about jobs. That's not your job. Your destiny will work it out. You have a promise that you will be looked after. I hope you believe in that promise and are joyous in the highest way. I bless you all from my heart, all of you, for a very happy and prosperous Diwali. Thank you very much.
Now we'll just sit for a few minutes in complete silence and just imbibe the vibrations. And in this thoughtless awareness, the attention just settled above the head. Just check in with what we feel on our hands. You may find that they're very cool. Perhaps one is a little cooler than the other. And if you like, you can also just once more feel above the head. Don't think about it, just simply bring the hand up and just 10 or 20 centimeters above the head. Just see if you can feel that cool coming out top of the head and blowing onto the palm of the hand, up between the fingers. Try with one hand and then the other. Whatever you feel, the important thing is that you have that awareness, attention on what you actually feel on the central nervous system when all the thoughts subside and the mind becomes still. Give the fingers a bit of a wiggle, and wiggle the toes. We also need to be aware of our feet. Just as the chakras are reflected on our hands and fingers, they're also reflected on the feet, toes. It's not about what we think, it's about what we feel. So as we gradually come back in and start to wrap up, we'll just refer to you can see the chart there, that those who may not know that the fingers there are color-coded and numbered, and each of the 5 fingers, the center of the palm and the heel of the hand, those 7 locations correspond to each of the 7 chakras. So even now, if you feel that there is just a couple of locations that there might be a bit of heat or pressure, something other than cool and light, that's just your Kundalini telling you that it's working on the corresponding chakra. So if you felt a bit of pressure, for example, on the thumb, then see there that the thumb corresponds to the 2nd chakra. And so you know that your Kundalini is working on that. She knows what to do. We don't have to know as such, but we know in the sense that we know what's happening. So I'm going to just, there we go, come back now, and we want to, we're going to just wrap up now. And but most importantly, we want to be able to stay in this state, this connected state that we're in. And something that helps us to do that, of course, is the exercise where we raise the Kundalini or tie the Kundalini with our hands and give ourselves a bandhan. So maybe we can all do that now. For those that don't know, we just rotate our right hand around the left like this. We start at the bottom and the hands come up like this, you see, and then we tie a knot above our head. And we do this 3 times because we have these 3 channels, starting right from the bottom, coming up to frame, and then another 2, this time 2 knots above our head. The 2nd time, then a 3rd time, right from the bottom, coming up and tying 3 knots above our head. Call that raising or tying the Kundalini. Second part is we bring our right hand over to our left elbow, and then we sweep across the top of our head to the other side and then back in reverse. That's 1. So we do this there and back 7 times because we have 7 these energy centers. So we're just covering ourselves, protecting ourselves, and helping to sustain these qualities that have hopefully now come into balance. Bring the hands together to keep the left and the right balanced, center. So hopefully everybody is feeling cool and light and experiencing that thoughtless awareness that comes from doing this regularly. And we'd like you to do a little bit of meditation every day. And of course, whenever possible, join us in a collective meditation as we've enjoyed tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for a wonderful program, Richard. And as you were saying, I think the, talking about the desire for the left side, on the left side, how the desire is important, to have that desire to, to start with, to get your realization, but then to establish that realization, to establish yourself in meditation, to feel those vibrations. And that desire is basically like, I suppose, the spark that ignites the fire. So that is very important for the left side, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, indeed.
And as you said, the meditation, yes. So we usually recommend twice a day, morning once you get up, just for 5 minutes, and in the evening when you come back from work, you're outside, you come back just before you sleep, again, just sit for 5 minutes to just balance your system a little bit, get that connection. Because it's like when it's, you put a little sapling or in the earth, and you kind of have to look after it for the roots to establish and for it to grow. So the meditation, when we sit for meditation, that is what it is. It's doing is that more and more of those strands of the energy are coming up, and it helps us establish our meditation, settle our thoughts, establish in that thoughtless state that we kind of like to achieve. So definitely twice a day meditation. You can always, I think Mitya has the site, the www.freemeditation.com/au and learn/.au/learn. So all the recordings of from today and the past are accessible here. Obviously, if you miss out on the Zoom, you can just go there and do. And we do our sessions. There's two separate sets. One is at 6 p.m. from Canberra, and then we're doing this one at 10 p.m. Sydney time now, actually. I thought they had updated that here. 10 p.m. Sydney time on Wednesdays. That happen. Yes, they have updated over here on this section, section here, not the one underneath. So I will just let them know again. And all your pre-recorded sessions. And the greatest thing is, you're new. There's a WhatsApp. If you are new and you haven't joined already, there's a little WhatsApp group that you can join, which have beautiful meditations, just 5-10 minute meditations that are posted to help you do the morning meditations. Or you can obviously come here and just do a pre-recorded session, and then you've got the resources down. So if you're traveling in the bus, want to listen to some music, you can go over here, just find some nice music, enjoy that during your train ride or your bus ride. Fantastic way to settle your attention. Or even when you finish work, I used to find that that was great. When you finish work or uni and I was coming back home, you're in the train, absolutely great way of just relaxing and settling attention by the time I got home. So,
Awesome. And speaking of music, we're going to go out tonight with a little bit of music. I really love this particular devotional song. It's called Ai Diwali. It's in Hindi, but it was written, I believe, somewhere in Europe, which just shows the global nature of Sahaja Yoga meditation. So as we go out, if you can hang around and continue your meditation while enjoying this song. And I guess all we need to do is say to everybody, Happy Diwali.
Yes, absolutely. Happy Diwali. Enjoy your time and thank you. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Richard presenting and us meditating and enjoying the vibrations. So have a great evening. Please stay in meditation with that wonderful song that Richard was talking about. And happy Diwali. Have a
Nice
great
to see you, Rita.
Nice.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Richard. Bye-bye, everyone.
श्री माधवी तू अपने आप है जोहरी ये कहती थी नौराते तेरी लिख न चाहे बातें कोई माने या ना माने हम भक्त तेरे दीवाने तेरे पाँव सारी दुनिया पकारती हाय 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 हंसी वाली है ये आई ऐसे शुभ अवसर पर हम पूजे महालक्ष्मी सब देवी देवता वही को पूजे निर्मल माओ मैया निर्मल माओ सिंधुवारा बलि महालक्ष्मी माता जी ओ सिंधुवारा बलि महालक्ष्मी माता जी महालक्ष्मी है भगदाती भगवती है तुझ पंचाल सुखदाती हमें सुख देना दिन राती जो तेरी महिमा गाए मुँह की मुरादे पाए हर आँख तेरी ओर निहारती हाय 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 हंसी वाली है ये आई ऐसे शुभ अवसर पर हम पूजे महालक्ष्मी सारे देवता वही को पूजे निर्मल माओ मैया निर्मल माओ सिंधुवारा बलि महालक्ष्मी माता जी ओ सिंधुवारा बलि महालक्ष्मी माता जी पूर्णमासी सब करके दूर अंधेरे हम बख्शो दे सवेरे सब करके दूर अंधेरे हम बख्शो दे सवेरे तो बाकतों की बिगड़ी सवार थी हाय 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 अच्छी बानी है ये हाय ऐसे शुभ सतना पूज महालक्ष्मी सब देव देवता परी को पूजे निर्मल भाव मय निर्मल भाव सिद्ध बराबर लक्ष्मी माता जी ओ सिद्ध बराबर लक्ष्मी माता जी हे दया बाज लक्ष्मी हे कृष्णानी हे सर्वदायिनी हे दया बाज लक्ष्मी हे कृष्णानी हे सर्वदायिनी ये सूरज चांद सितारे सब तेरे ही गुण गाती तू ही शांति रूप शांति हम देना भी